Hello everyone, welcome back to the Zekko football channel. England are one of the favourites for Euro 2024, but the big question still remains. How do they do it? What does Gareth Southgate need to do to get his side over the line? Well, that's where we come in. Today, we're going to be taking a look at how England should set up for Euro 2024. I think a really important thing for England when going into a Euros and really looking to win a tournament is maintaining a balance throughout the side and allowing them to have that 5-5 split just between the attackers and the defenders, to have that balance not only in offense but also in the defense of the side. And I think it's really coming to the forefront in the sides like Manchester City, Liverpool. We've seen a number of other clubs do it in maintaining that split between the attackers and the defenders, and I actually think that England are only a couple steps away from being able to be a high possession based side and allowing themselves to develop play that little bit more, with having that rigidity and solidity in their team to make themselves defensively aware. So this is the England team that I've come up with. There are a couple of things that I think we need to talk about, but first and foremost I want to mention the essentially England non-negotiables in this side, the real linchpins and essentially the win factors for England going into a tournament, and they are a couple of players. Declan Rice, who I think is arguably one of the best CDMs in the world currently, the way he progresses the ball through the lines, the way he's able to move himself and the ball at the same time, but most importantly his defensive awareness when it comes to stopping either counterattacks, his ability to win the ball back. It's going to be extremely essential for England if they are looking to play a possession-based style of football. The next two players that I'm going to be talking about are Jude Bellingham and Phil Foden. I actually don't think that Harry Kane is a non-negotiable, but I think these three players in the middle of the park are absolutely non-negotiable players, and they're essentially England's win conditions if they're going to be able to do anything. I think Jude Bellingham is one of the best attacking players in the world currently. He's really unlocked himself from an attacking point of view, pushing himself that little bit further forwards, getting goals, being able to link up play a little bit further forward. And everyone knows about Phil Foden at this point. There's always that debate, is it Foden, is it Saka? I think Foden is better in a more infield sense. I think Saka's better out on the wide areas, and just generally I think if you get these three players into a side, you're already giving yourself a pretty good chance. As you can see on this left hand side, I've got England set up in a 4-3-3 formation. Now this can transition and we'll talk about that in a moment, but in these three players I think you've got the basis for a really strong midfield. Declan Rice with that real holding nature, you've got Phil Foden being able to drift and drive with the ball, and the same goes for Jude Bellingham, who's able to really take the ball and drive, and that's going to be a really key feature that is noticed throughout this England side, are players that can do both. They can pass the ball, but at the same time they can take the ball and drive with it. They can transition the play further and really walk with the ball and push the side up a little bit. But we'll talk about the side in general now, and I think it's really important to note the back four. Now, Kyle Walker is going to be the main outlier in this particular scenario, and I think that's really key because Walker is now 33 years old, and that is quite an age. I don't think he's going to retain his pace for too much longer. I mean, I've said that for quite some time now, and I have been proven wrong, but I still think that he is going to be a major linchpin in this England setup, especially when defending against counter-attacks. John Stones, I think, is the best ball-playing centre-back that we have in the side currently, and that means that I think he should be the major linchpin when progressing the ball forwards. Luke Shaw is going to be able to really drive forwards, but at the same time he's tall enough as a left-back to be a left centre-back, and that is one of the main key areas I'm looking towards. I thought about him or Joe Gomez, but I think Shaw has a little bit better dynamism at the moment. And then you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent is another almost half linchpin for me. I don't think you can have an England side at the moment without Trent. He averages over 5 shot creating actions per 90, and in fact in the 18 games that he's played for Liverpool this season, he's actually created 99 shot creating actions. That is insane, and if you want to compare him to Kyle Walker, that's actually double Kyle Walker's output when Kyle Walker has played just a few more matches. It's incredible. I think you've got to have Trent into the side, but I think he should be a little bit more further forwards, and I'm not saying he should be a winger or anything, but I definitely think he should progress into midfield, and this is where the formation really starts to become a little bit interesting, because what I think England should do is really take a leaf out of Manchester City's book. There are a number of Man City players here, there are a number of Liverpool players, well, there's a Liverpool player in here, and I think it's really key to be able to transition into that 5-5 split. At the moment, we do have 5 defenders and we have 5 attackers, but I'd like it to transition to be a little bit more. I think Trent should come into midfield, and I think the entire back 3 that remains should really shuffle across. I think Walker's going to be needed for his transitional play or his stopping of the opposition transition, and I think Luke Shaw will do the same on this side. I think England need to be really wary about teams that counter on them if they're going to become a more possession-based side. That's why I've got these two in the side with their pace, for their power, and their ability to really maintain the stop on the counter-attack. John Stones is really good at progressing the ball forwards, and that's my England back 4. Obviously, out of possession, they are going to be in this 4. In possession, I'd like them to be a 3. So we'll move them around right now. I think Declan Rice should shuffle across. Walker comes across, Stones is in the middle, and then you've got Luke Shaw. Now, as I've mentioned, both fullbacks as the 2 centre-backs on either side of John Stones are then going to stop the counter-attack for England and really help them to recover possession and then transition through. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think, should be one of the deep-line playmakers for this England setup. I think his ability to switch the play over to another side is an incredible asset that Liverpool have utilised for so many years now, and I think it's a crime that England haven't been able to utilise this for him. I think that he has a brilliant way of chipping balls over the top. We've seen that for England already. I think he can play the ball through to Saka. His passing range and his level of passing is incredible. We have to find a way to get Trent into the side, and I think this is the way. Now, when we're talking about going forwards, I've mentioned Bellingham and I've mentioned Foden, but a lot of the systems in teams currently are utilising this 4-man midfield, and I think England could as well. The one problem you've got is a defensive real mindset for these 4 players, but I think with Trent and Rice, if they lay low and just a little bit more, I think it's going to allow Bellingham and Foden to really go and express themselves. You're then looking at the wide areas. Now, I've gone for pace out in wide areas, in particular on the left-hand side. I don't think you can drop Saka. I think Saka's been amazing for Arsenal. I think he's currently England's best right winger, so Saka has to play. Out on this left-hand side, you've got a little bit more flexibility, but I've gone for Marcus Rashford for 2 reasons. Number one, he's never really let England down. Whenever he's been able to play, he's always managed to get a goal contribution, get a shot off. He's always managed to cause some kind of chaos. The second reason is because of his dynamic pace. I think when you're looking for England to really go forwards, I think they need to stretch teams, I think they need to go out wide and then start blazing down the wing. Recycling possession is key, of course, but then you're looking about runs into the box. You're looking at passes into the box from the likes of Bellingham, from the likes of Foden, who are going to be pulling the strings. They're so good in tight-knit scenarios and so good at retaining possession that I think it's going to be on them to really make sure that they can create those plays for England to go forwards. And then you're looking at the wide areas. Then you're looking at Saka, then you're looking at Rashford to make those movements in beyond. Harry Kane should be in and around the penalty area, as we know he always is, but sometimes we see him drop a little bit deeper. I don't think that's necessary for Kane in this current instance. I don't think Kane really needs to. I think there's enough creativity in these two, along with the 2 wingers and Trent down here, to really make sure that they're able to create enough chances, and that really unlocks Harry Kane. It allows him to get into the box whenever he needs to, or just really sit around there. And I think he wastes a lot of time and a lot of moments, or England wastes a lot of time and a lot of moments with Kane building up the play. Now, I'm all about the transition. I understand Kane dropping deeper. I understand that's one of the roles that he fulfills, but I don't really want him there. I want my goal scorer to be in the box, and this system allows for Kane to be in the box more often. And if he's there for the crosses, for the cutbacks, for all kinds of manners of play, he can really do anything in the box that he wants to. You've got passes, crosses into the box. You've got a number of different avenues that England can really look towards. And when you push the England side up, you've got Kane in the box, Foden and Bellingham on either side, ready to really link up with the wingers. You then got the 5 defenders who can sit in and around the halfway line, and the 3 centre-backs who are going to be able to stop the transition and the counter-attack. Recycle possession, which is absolutely key, down the flanks, through the midfield, and I think this is the key and current way that England should be progressing the ball forwards, and it will give them the opportunity to utilise their creative attacking players, get down the sides, get down the wings, but also play penetrative passes into the box, into Harry Kane, making sure that they're giving him the best opportunity to really get a shot on goal, to get moments in on goal, and really try to hurt the opposition. This is how I believe England should set up to win the Euros. But my question to you guys is, how do you see this setting up? How do you think England are going to do at the Euros? And if you would change something, what would it be? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.